So what was it that marked out Gino Diaz's winning short story for you personally?
What made Gino Diaz's story so exceptional? It had elements of social realism. It had just extraordinary power to it. It was a very brave piece of writing to do as well. It takes the idea of a transgressive love between a youth and an older person, and instead of going the obvious route of a young woman and an older man, it turns it on its head and has a younger man and an older woman, which is very intriguing. And it's also set in a really intriguing milieu, which is the Dominican community in New York. So the precision was extraordinary. And what I think the judges found was that it was a story that the more you reread it, the deeper it got and the more poignant it became, as well as it has a very immediate qualities, and it's very strong and it's quite shocking, but it also has this extraordinary poignancy that develops as you go back and back and back again.
Is there anything you can pick out from having been a judge of the awards for 4 years now about what makes a really successful short story?
They've shown us incredible depth and breadth that you can do pretty much what you want to do, anything you want to do, within reason with a short story. I was amazed actually when we had the readings earlier in the week. I realised just how various they were. So we had metafiction, we had magic realism, we had allegory, we had gritty social realism, we had polemic, and you can do all that within 6,000 words. 6 different, very different ways of approaching the short story.
Is there something you think we can learn about the art of short story writing from the winners?
What I've learned is, because I've now been judging it, in terms of rules that I've learned, what I've learned in the last 4 years, and I've been a judge for all 4 years, is that there are actually very few rules. I went in initially thinking there is a certain type of short story, which is the classic type of short story. But in fact, I realised that most of the short stories that I like break most of those rules. There are obvious things about concision and precision, which if you don't have that in a short story, then it's disaster. Beyond that, you can do pretty much what you want with it.
Do you think there's any influence from new technologies, from iPhones and iPads and such?
Yes, as I said, we're doing an ebook for it this year. We haven't quite got our head, that was only for Kindle, we haven't quite got our head around all the other mechanisms yet. We tweet about it fiercely. We also did a voting system, a public voting system this year for it, so the public could have their own say. Interestingly, they chose a different winner. The winner that the judges chose was Gino Diaz, and the winner that the reading public chose was Conan Jones. So that's interesting, and I think it's very healthy. So there are lots of ways, and partly it's about, what this is all about is interacting and reaching with and reaching out to readers. So there's lots of potential.
Andrew, how would you gauge the response to the EFG Sunday Times Short Story Award?
The uptake has been extraordinary. We've now produced an ebook this year called 6 Shorts of the stories, which has been very popular. There's been a lot of interest from publishers, from agents, from other authors as well. So I think it's an event that I think has huge potential. I would like to make it the non-fiction, the short story booker, and I think with EFG support and the Sunday Times power, I think we have a very good chance of making it a really, really significant prize. I think it already is, but I think it could be really significant.